Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome to another Racial Legends video. We're on the test server today, testing out the two new bosses with my good friend Chosen from Fly Elite. He's on YouTube channel. If you've never seen that, definitely go check it out. I'll put a link down in the description and comments of this video. Before we get on to that, guys, if you do enjoy the music played throughout this video, then definitely check out soundstripe.com. I am partnered with them with my own promo code coldbrew, one word, for 15% discount. Definitely solid music. I do enjoy playing it over on my streams and YouTube videos. Check it out, guys, and you won't be disappointed. So guys, we got my friend Fly Elite here in order for us to beat this Dreadhorn new boss coming into the Doom Tower alongside Darkfey. If you haven't checked out his video posted on his channel, definitely go check it out, guys, because we went in and tried both of these bosses for this showcase. So Dreadhorn, will quickly go over his skills, but before that, welcome, man. Welcome to the video. What do you think? What do you think so far of the two new bosses?
Hey, what's up, Coldbrew? It's always fun to be on your channel. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I think they look awesome. They're awesome concepts. They both bring something new to the game. So yeah, I think all in all, it should be a net positive for a new rotation here on the Doom Tower. I think the sets are pretty cool. Lethal's incredible. It's going to be one of the top 3 or 4 sets in the game. Fortitude, not quite as amazing, but it's still a pretty solid set. So all in all, as long as they can get them balanced right to where they are a fun and unique challenge without being too insane, I think it should all in all be a good thing for the Doom Tower.
Indeed, I like when the new challenges come in, because it makes you think, it makes you go back, look at your roster and think, okay, what do I have in order to tackle this challenge? We went over Darkfey, we found a solution for that, and I think we'll find that the players out there will find even more compositions in order to beat that specific boss. But this one, the Dreadhorn, is very special. We'll go over first on his kit, and then we'll give you guys an idea of what we faced when we tried to do this boss on the test server on the highest difficulty on hard Doom Tower. So first things first, his A1 attacks all enemies, decreases bomb debuff detonation countdowns by 1 turn. Also instantly activates any HP burn debuffs on each target and decreases the duration of those debuffs by 1 turn. Pretty standard way for a bomb. Even champion would have this in their kit, so it's acceptable. A2 Magma Flood attacks all enemies, plays an HP burn debuff on each enemy for 3 turns. Passive effect: enemies receive 100% more damage from HP burn debuffs for each bomb debuff they're under, which is insane. So the more bombs you got, the more pain you're gonna get from those HP burn debuffs. Then the A3 removes all buffs from all enemies and attacks them, plays a bomb debuff on each enemy that detonates after 2 turns, plays an additional bomb debuff for each buff removed by this skill. The bomb debuffs cannot be blocked or removed. It's insane. The more buffs you got, the more trouble you'll be once he does this A3. Insane amount of bombs. So finally, Dread Minions, plays a 50% increased attack buff on Bommel, the Dreadhorn, for 5 turns. Then summons the 2 Dread Bombs and grants an extra turn. The increased attack buff cannot be removed. Passive effect: summons 1 Dread Bomb every time Bommel's turn meter is decreased, which is insane. So no more decreased turn meter champions in there. You have to have a decreased attack, and you have to have a way to either block that buff or remove it. So since this cannot be removed, that goes out the window. You can only apply a block buffs buff on this boss for you to receive way less damage from the bombs. So that's the only way that you can go around with this. And then finally, the passive that this boss has. The other passives are the ones every single boss has. So each time an enemy places any debuff except bomb debuffs on Bommel, place a bomb debuff on that enemy that detonates after 2 turns. After 2 turns, these bomb debuffs cannot be blocked or removed. Each time a bomb debuff detonates on an enemy, has a 100% chance of placing a stun debuff on all other enemies for 1 turn. Bommel receives 200% more damage from bomb debuffs. So that's his kit. And then we got the Dread Bombs, which have to be controlled in the sense of a freeze. If you do freeze them, you only receive 20% damage based on your health. If you don't freeze them, then you receive a 40% max HP damage on all of your team. So it's a pretty nasty damage, but it can be mitigated with shields, can be mitigated with strengthen buffs and so on. So it's not that detrimental, but if you have too many of them, then your team is gonna die, and you'll see that in the clips later on. So what do you think of this kit, first of all? When you looked at it the first time, what did you think? Which champions did you have in mind?
We at first you're thinking like cleansers, Doom Priest, Raglan, a way to get these all these bombs dealt with, but then you quickly realize that's not really an option. You can't really cleanse them, so then it ends up being it comes down to resistance. So you need high resistance champs, people with resistance Doom Tower auras. There are no increased resistance buffs in the game, so that does make it a lot tougher. You just gotta get it old school. You gotta get high resistance by just building it on your champions, taking the 50 resistance passive, and then also making sure you place a decreased accuracy on him to help out, because his base accuracy is insane. And then obviously they're trying to add a thing to the game that incentivizes placing bombs by making him take a lot more damage, because bombs are way underutilized in raid in general. So that's what they're going for, is having a mechanic in the game built around bombs and extrapolating that into something fun to bring that, seeing more action. But yeah, he is definitely going to be one of the harder Doom Tower bosses, in my opinion, just after testing him for a little bit.
Yeah. I've tested this boss, guys. We both tested him, and we found that for the time being, the only way to go is high resist. But the amount of resistance that we both tried, based on our accounts being more than 2 years old, is insane. Okay, we put in our best resistance gear, more than 500 resist on each champion, in order to have a chance to get resisted. Okay, and that's only after we apply a decreased accuracy debuff on the boss. So what we did is we went over trying to find the decreased accuracy champions out there. The very best one is Whirlim, because he cannot get resisted with that. And then we were brainstorming on other champions that might have something else to bring into the team. So I think you mentioned Geomancer. You also mentioned, I think, Yoshi into the mix.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Well, not a lot, but there's a decent amount of them. Lord Champfort is pretty solid because he's got the decreased accuracy and the decreased attack. So kind of a double-edged sword there to help out with this fight. The problem is you get champions that have decreased accuracy, but they also lower turn meter. And if you lower turn meter, you're just like destroying your own team. So like Coldheart even has decreased accuracy, I think. So but then she's gonna slam a Heartseeker. But I guess you could build custom teams and maybe disable some of these abilities that mess with the turn meter. You could try that route. But yeah, having decreased accuracy on him is an absolute must. Because you're just never going to resist anything if you don't, because you can't build champions with 900 resistance and stuff. So
yeah, it's insane. What we've done, and I'll start the clip of us just of me just trying in with a very specific team. So this specific team has Vizier in there plus Whirlim. So what Whirlim is going to go first, apply that decreased accuracy. Then Vizier is going to go in there and try to extend it with his A1 in order for us to get as much benefit out of that decreased accuracy on the boss. And because the boss gets a double turn, it pretty much makes Vizier a necessity for this kind of composition, because you need to extend the duration of that decreased accuracy more than 2 turns, since the boss takes a double turn immediately. And the boss is at 250 speed on a floor 90 of the hard Doom Tower, so you pretty much need to have more than 250 speed plus more than 500 resistant plus 300 plus accuracy on Vizier plus the speed. The requirements are quite insane.
Yeah, the grants extra turn mechanic really makes it a pain. Players are going to notice that right away when they're trying to clear it. That extra turn is going to just kind of wipe away those debuffs if you don't extend them.
Yeah, and I found that this composition, after you put in so much defensive stats in all 5 champions, it makes the run extremely slow. It can work, but the run becomes extremely slow, and it's not fun. It's not an enjoyable challenge. When you go all out defensive, it just sacks out some of the joy of building these teams. If it had a sense that, okay, I built defensively, but then somehow damage comes out of this team because of built this way. Maybe the bombs would do damage to the boss instead if they didn't apply to our own team, if there was such mechanic. But yeah, at the moment, I think in order to enjoy this challenge more for all players, they need to tune down the difficulty being the resistance requirements. That's what I think. It should be done at first. The speed can stay the same. It's what the speeds are for 90 and 120 for Doom Tower. You need over 250, but the resistance requirement maybe should be dropped from 1000, which is currently, to maybe 800 or 700 even. Similarly to Sword, I think the Ice Spider, which has a pretty high amount of resistance, but once you kill the spiralings, the resistance drop. Plus, if you decrease accuracy, it makes it much easier.
Yeah, there's a path to victory. So like, I think they either need to lower his base accuracy, or add a mechanic like loses 100 accuracy for every debuff on this champion, something like that. So like, as you place more and more debuffs and extend them, you can kind of lower his accuracy to a realistic point where you can try to resist things. And also maybe removing that grants extra turn. If they did those two things, I think he would be a challenge. I would maybe start there with those two little tweaks, like just that extra turn, and then finding a path to victory to lower his accuracy a little bit more. Tweak those two things, and I think, what do you think? Do you think that would be a good middle ground where he'd still be hard, but there'd be a path to victory?
Yeah. As long as you don't unlock a specific encounter to a number of champions only, and that's it, I'm happy. But at the moment, it seems that the decreased accuracy plus Vizier combo is required for you to not get overwhelmed with the bombs, because the bombs are not just there only. It's the remove of buffs plus bombs that you receive. It's the damage you receive from the dread bombs, the 2 adds that the boss summons. It's everything together that you have to consider. You need healing to counter what damage you receive, so you've got to bring in healing as well. It's everything together that needs to be thought of before going into this encounter. And I've taken my best gear, literally even my Arbiter, moved gear from my Arbiter in order to make this team. And I don't think it's an acceptable solution to basically strip your best champions just to make a team for floor 90. I accept that this is the biggest challenge within the game at the moment, but it should be more flexible. Maybe it's the word.
Yeah. As players, we love it when things are challenging because there's more to theory craft. There's more things to consider. So I'm fine with it being challenging. I think it just needs to be tuned a little bit. I think they did a good job designing the boss. It just needs a little bit of tuning. And from what I've gathered in us talking with them, this is why we have a test server. We're giving them this feedback, and I think they were pretty receptive to some of the things we were saying. So hopefully it ends up being tuned to the point where it's still challenging, but like I said, there's a path to victory.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Maybe if we had a few more days to the test server, maybe we could fine-tune something else. And maybe if we would see the change within the test server after our comments, then maybe we would come back with version 2 of this video, if this was the case. But as far as we know, we'll be releasing this almost immediately, and then the actual Doom Tower rotation will change. So we might even see a change much later on, or be implemented during the new rotation.
Yep. Yeah, it's probably too late to have it changed for this Doom Tower. So odds are, I mean, I could be wrong. They might hotfix something. It's definitely possible. But I think it's just going to be an insane challenge for this iteration of the Doom Tower. But once this thing hits the public and you have thousands of players theory crafting, there may be compositions that come out. There's always people that are smart and figure things out. So you just never know if we're just missing something from the testing. And I'm sure people will come up with some fun teams to try and give them a chance. But it's definitely going to be hard.
Yeah, everybody will realize how tough this is from floor 10.
Yeah,
from floor 10. That's the first day. Basically, impressions. You're gonna see Reddit go crazy about this. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But it will be fun for sure.
Yep, it's gonna be hard. I definitely think. What do you think? Hardest Doom Tower boss? I think so.
Yeah, it's the Eternal Dragon and this guy being a close. Maybe this guy because he's just fresh. He seems to be the hardest one, but the Eternal Dragon is also pretty hard.
Yep. Yep. I think. I think this bomb guy is the hardest one in my opinion. But you're right. After that, there's like 2 or 3 that you can make an argument for. Then you got obviously the easiest one I think is probably the Magma Dragon, right?
Yeah, the Magma Dragon is like a baby compared to this guy. You
Yeah.
just go in there with a provoke, and that's it, basically, and not an HP ban. A provoke and not an HP ban, and that's it.
Yep. Yeah, there's a path to victory on that one, and that one's a little bit too undertuned, and then this bomb guy's a little bit too overtuned, but hopefully they'll be receptive to that feedback.
Yeah. All right, man. I think this was for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. You should go and test out this new boss right when it's released. Give us your opinions. Come back to this video, even comment down below. We'll be sure posting more if we get any news for a balancing patch on this one, a hotfix. So yeah, definitely go check out Chofly's channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to both of us if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
See ya.